We're opening and Matt's here. What's up, brother?
How you doing? That. I was way in the back of the building. You doing all right?
Hey guys, look at these hands right here. These are working hands, man. This guy's working on vintage motorcycles today, and he's got his work boots on. So this is a guy making the magic happen.
That's how it is.
You are in for the tour of the #1, the best American motorcycle museum in the world, bar none. So come on in, let's check it out.
Appreciate you coming, man. How was the drive?
Oh my God, it was too long.
Yeah,
we're glad to be here.
You get to ride at the Dragon yesterday?
Yes, we did. I was riding wheelies all the way up the hill on my XR650. It was fantastic.
Fun stuff. Oh, that's a great bike, an XR650 for me.
Yeah, we took the XR650 up the tail of the Dragon and up to Crystal Ridge, the Skyway, and a bunch of other places.
Was the Blue Ridge Parkway open on the way in, or did you?
Yes. Yeah, we did hit that.
Good deal.
So this is just, I want to give the viewers an overview here of what they're seeing on the way in. Who owns the cabin?
The cabin, that's just our little guest cabin there. So occasionally when we have friends from out of town, we put them up in the guest cabin. Kind of actually, I lived in that cabin for 7.5 years when I first started.
Why would you ever move out? It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I know, it was great. It was it was a little small for me and my lady, and once the two kids came along,
okay, the kids, yeah.
Great,
what a fantastic little cabin. We were looking at that last night, this morning. And do you own the other cabin over there too, or is that another one?
That's a hotel right on the back side of the covered parking over here.
I absolutely love the bridge coming across. And what is this plaque right here?
The plaque's to commemorate my dad's effort here. You know, my dad had been collecting motorcycles for 50+ years. Really made it his life's mission to preserve the heritage of American motorcycling. So,
and that he has done.
Yeah, well, he's had spent a lifetime doing it, and a few years ago we had this plaque made to really commemorate his.
Founder of the Dale Walksler, founder of the Wheels Through Time Museum, the museum that runs. Established in Maggie Valley in 2002, the museum shares the history of American transportation and motorsports with countless visitors. This monument is in recognition of Dale's vision to present the machines in running condition and a lifetime of hard work developing the collection. 50 years. That's fantastic. The museum that runs. So, in my standing next to his biggest accomplishment, and that is the next generation. He has taught you probably everything you know about the vintage motorcycles.
No doubt about it. He's been far more than just an inspiration. He's been a mentor. He's been, my teacher. He's been the guy to watch and learn how to not just run a business from, but live life from. So he's set a big example, and I do my best to emulate that.
Speaking for him, my greatest accomplishment was getting my son involved. He's been at the museum since he was 13 years old, and the bike shop, and he loves what we're doing. Thank you. I almost tripped over a rock. He loves the motorcycles as much as I do, because none of the future of this, what we're looking at right here, is counting on the next generation, you and your children and their friends, and getting the next generation involved. And I hope that this video inspires people to come here to support the museum, get involved with motorcycling, and pass it on. And everywhere I look here, there's a barn over here. Like this looks like an American picker's dream over there. You've got panheads and vintage cars and trucks and trailers, and there's just so much outside here before we even get in.
Yeah, the black trailer over here is kind of a neat piece of history. That trailer, originally my dad's from the Chicago area. He moved to Southern Illinois in the 1970s to open up his Harley dealership. Sold his Harley Davidson dealership in '99. Knew that he wanted to relocate. Mount Vernon, there's not much more than cornfields, biggest hills, the overpass. Not a ton happening tourism-wise. So knew and known that he wanted to come to an area that is a great motorcycling area and an area with lots of tourism. Picked Maggie Valley. He moved the entire museum in that black trailer, 90 trips back and forth.
Oh my God!
Illinois to here.
That thing,
all by himself.
That thing doesn't owe you a penny, that trailer. But you have to keep it forever now.
That's right.
It's a forever trailer.
It's an integral part of the museum here, just in that, again, 90 trips, 1,000 miles both way. That's 3 times around the world.
How many miles is that total?
I think it was 94,000 miles total.
So you put 100,000 miles just bringing the treasures
in 10
here.
months.
In 10 months. That's it. Yeah. I know he was a super hardworking guy. And I know he has, and you have touched so many people through the museum. And it's not just about this building. It's not just about the bikes. It's about the people that you motivate and give them the passion for the thing you love the most. And that's why I'm super excited to be here. And I can't believe what I'm looking at. Hold on. I'm like a kid. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I can't believe I'm looking at this, because we literally just talked to my lawnmower guy and told him we wanted to build a lawnmower with a with a big motorcycle engine and a Springer front end, and here it is sitting right here. I had no idea this was sitting out here.
It was donated
that's so cool.
About 15 years ago by a friend of ours in Georgia, and actually our gardener used to use it every once in a while, but he started jumping it off curbs and messed the neck up. Now
he was having too much fun.
Yeah, he was having way too much
what a
fun.
cool piece. So it actually was used for mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
Hey, babe.
Not your zero turning radius mower.
Babe, should we upgrade you from the Ferris to a Harley Davidson powered mower? We're working on that now. So, how big is the property here? Do you
down low here was about 5 acres around the building. My dad's house was right up behind the building, so he was here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the most part. The building itself is about 38,000 square feet. We've got a 40 by 60 workshop in the back with 6 or 7 bays, a mezzanine around it where we store a lot of our parts. So that workshop is separate from the museum itself. It's part of the building, but it's
not part of the tour usually, right?
Yeah,
I'm hoping you'll give us a tour of it.
Oh, of course. When you're wrenching on stuff, it's nice to kind of be in your zone.
You can't have anything disappear or let parts get kicked away.
That we're worried about. It's just, when you got eyes on you.
Yeah.
Working on a crankshaft is a whole different deal,
Amen.
As opposed to being able to spend the time and really focus and dig in. So
the little campground shack there. What is that? Or cabin? What is that?
This property was an abandoned campground when my dad bought the property.
Perfect.
So it is 46 acres straight to the top of the hill here. So from ridge to the ridge.
Wow. So you own 50 acres here?
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Right about 50 acres, and down low here there was it was a campground with several spots, and actually this area was covered in trees when he bought the property, and he actually had to shave away some of the mountain to make room for the building. Had to raise the building out of floodplain there, so down at the end it's about 12 feet. They had to raise it up here a little bit less, but yeah, and the cabin was, again, same thing. The cabin was here. That was the entrance quarters to the registration cabin for the campground. So we built a covered park in there for really, and this is actually a recent pile of stuff that we had just purchased, most of those motorcycles over there. So during the year, that serves kind of as covered parking for our guests and visitors that are on bikes. When it rains, it's a good spot to hang out when you're not inside the museum.
We got to get a close-up of what's in there because it looks so cool from here. I think it's awesome that you preserve the character. With the cabin is a 10, in my opinion. I mean, it's fantastic. And the little cabin you saved there is awesome, and the grounds are beautiful. The river, the mountains. You couldn't ask for a better location on the planet to put a motorcycle museum, in my opinion.
It's one great place, and we always say that Maggie Valley's a super little town, but the best part of the town is right here on this side of the creek. We love it over here, and there's 50 to 75,000 visitors through here a year.
That's awesome.
Make Wheels Through Time their destination, and we try and keep things fresh and keep things changing, and we seem to be getting busier. So
when are you opening this year?
We open April 1st.
April 1st, guys. So mark your calendar. Try to get here this year and check the place out. I know last year the COVID shut down our museum, your museum, most museums pretty much, right?
Yeah, we were shut down all the way through October. Opened on a abbreviated schedule right through the end of November. Our season here is April 1st through about the end of November. So Maggie kind of rolls the sidewalks up in the winter time. There's a ski resort up the road, but as far as motorcycle traffic, it's chilly enough here over winter where all that slows down. So the museum, we close down over the winter. It gives us the time to revamp exhibits, build new exhibits, just enhance the overall experience. I spend a lot of time in the workshop over the winter. I try and finish anywhere between 10 to 14 bikes a year, so it's
a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Hundreds of hours on each bike,
hundreds
if not
of hours
thousands.
on each bike. Yeah.
And a lot of the bikes you have parts aren't available. You have to craft the parts, right?
Well, we do our best not to make parts, and that's part of what separates this place from most places. Is that what you see inside is the genuine article. It was one thing that my dad was incredibly good at, was chasing down the original stuff. And you talk about a 1917 Henderson or a 1912 Excelsior. A lot of guys doing those restorations do have to fabricate stuff. It was my dad's expertise to hunt down that last original piece. We talk about a lot of this stuff, and somebody says, "Oh man, there can't be 10 of those in the whole world," and that's what he was good at finding. So that's what's inside.
It's just phenomenal. You bought 50 acres in the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains here, and your dad's house is on the hill?
Yeah, it's right up that driveway. It's right behind the museum. Actually, when you were standing out at the gate, you could probably see the little brick house up there.
Did he build that after?
That was also here. Yeah,
okay, so he probably remodeled that, moved in, and redid everything. That's awesome. Is this building brand new, custom built for your application?
Yes, it was all built at once. 38,000 square foot. We added the mezzanine a little bit later. So when you look at photos, at least when I look at photos from 10 years ago, the building looks entirely bare without that big nice awning on the front. But yeah, it's kind of two. It's like it's two buildings put side by side almost, but it was all built at once and designed specifically for this. So there's a second floor mezzanine. Bought the property in July of '01. Broke ground immediately, and we were open a year later, July of '02.
So 20 years you've been here, but that wasn't, the beginning was 50 years ago when your dad started collecting the bikes.
Yeah.
And how many trailer loads?
There's 90 trips.
90 trailer loads.
In southern Illinois, you had a Dale's Harley Davidson in Mount Vernon, and he was a top 100 dealer every year. At the time he bought his dealership, he was one of the youngest dealers. At the time, he was the youngest dealer in the company's dealer network, one of the youngest dealers in the history of the company. He was 22, and developed this collection over those years, starting in about, well, he was collecting bikes even before he was a Harley Davidson dealer. So, early 70s up through the mid 80s, he developed quite a collection and opened a museum behind his dealership, really to attract people to the dealership. So it's 13,000 square feet initially. Seemed big at the time, but compared to the building here,
this is just really big.
It's really big. Yeah, no, he has always been American focused. Started out as much cars as it was motorcycles, and eventually evolved. You can fit 6-8 bikes where you fit a car. So as his collecting appetite continued to kind of develop and evolve and flourish, it became much more motorcycle oriented, which is what he really loved anyway. He dug it all. Anything American transportation has always been, what he was into, but rare American bikes with character, bikes with personality, bikes with great stories is what it's all about. So
that's awesome. He started, I've never heard, he must have been one of the youngest Harley dealership owners ever in history. Harley at 22 years old.
Yeah.
Was it 22 you said?
Yeah, 22 years old.
So how many years did he own the Harley dealership, and when did he
owned it from 70, late 76, early 77 through 99. So it was 23, 24 years. And he just kind of saw the writing on the wall. He had his idea of how a dealership should be run. Did it immensely successfully. Ran a dealership that grossed in the tens of millions of dollars with 11 employees out of 6,000 square feet.
Fantastic.
So he was a hustler. He was one of those guys. So many things that set his dealership apart from other dealerships. Remember the waiting list days when you had to get on waiting lists?
I was on it many years.
My dad never had a waiting list. The worst thing that could happen is the words right out of my dad's mouth. The worst thing that can happen is the guy with his brand new F-250 pickup truck pulls into your parking lot, gets out ready to buy a bike that day, comes in, he sits on that really nice Heritage Softail Springer, and he says, you've got to have your salesman walk up to him and say, sorry, that one's sold. You can get one maybe in 6 months. Well, the next thing that guy does is hop back in his truck and drive 45 minutes down the road. So with my dad, never a wait list. If the bike was on the showroom floor, it was for sale. He had a driver that was all over the country buying new and used bikes to keep his inventory up, and they would buy new and used bikes at and above retail from other dealers just to keep the stock at Dale. So another thing that he did is, I jokingly say, he kind of created the Screaming Eagle brand. Wow. There was a time when pretty much every Harley that came off the line was kind of a bare bones baseline model. First thing that he did, bike comes off the truck. Usually, your guy unstraps it. They pull the crate off, unstrap the bike, pull the tape off the paint, flip up the handlebars, roll it on the showroom floor. Well, all of my dad's bikes went straight to the service department. They decked it out with all the stuff that guys liked and wanted to buy anyway.
Got to put an exhaust on it so it sounds like a vacuum cleaner, right?
You know, new air cleaners, new derby covers, all that sort of stuff that really made a bike an individual motorcycle, and then rolled them out really as kind of dealer customs. And he was one of the guys that kind of started doing that. And years later, the Screaming Eagle brand evolved, and I always credit him with saying that.
That's awesome.
With creating the Screaming Eagle.
So, a little over 20-year run running the Harley dealership, and he sold it, I guess, at the right time around 2000, right?
Yeah, and you know,
the market kind of crashed.
It was right at the time when they were wanting dealers to build big new dealerships out by the interstate. You know, you buy a new piece of property, you buy a big new building, and you know, the way that my dad ran his shop, he always considered it highly efficient, you know, and there's no, you know, as far as a benefit to his business or the company in general, he didn't see it that was the answer, you know, running a dealership like that on 11 employees in a small square footage and still selling 110, 120 bikes a month. Yeah, it's a lot of motorcycles.
A lot of paperwork.
And it's
full-time job to do the paperwork.
It's one of those situations where it was tough for him to be any more efficient than that. So that at that point that he kind of started to get those sorts of pressures, and of course, you know, as he got older, you know, priorities changed, and his real focus was on early American motorcycles and preserving that history, and was able to build a dealership up to be successful enough to where when he sold it, he was able to make a full-time operation out of the museum.
That's awesome. So he went full-time with this in what year?
Well, I guess running it behind the dealership, that started in '89, and then sold the dealership in '99, still ran the museum behind the dealership there while their new owners had it for about a year and a half. And then started the move to here. So 2002 in July, well, I guess he retired in '99 from the Harley dealership to go a full 100-hour-a-week retirement here in 95.
That's like what I did. So. Yeah, I retired from the computer industry. Now I work 12 years ago, and now I work constantly. I consider I play constantly.
Yeah, it's hard to consider it work. You know, when you love what you do,
Christy and I have been doing just the same thing. Your dad. We started the day after Christmas. We went out on the road. We've been living in that little, I call it our tiny home, and traveling around the country, meeting dealers and collectors and buying bikes. We bought over 200 bikes since we left. So it's been, and for resale, because the museum's been closed, that's our only source of income. So we've been buying and selling a lot of motorcycles. We have a staff of 18 guys there doing that. And my son is running the whole shop now. He's been trained since he was 13. He does all. I trained him. I've been raising him to take it over when I'm no longer capable of doing it, or if I pass away. And I'll be there till I die. I set it up so they have there's a little white house right next to the museum. I'm going to move into there. That'll be my last place. And I've got a handicap ramp to go out of there into the museum, because I love this stuff. There's no place I'd rather be than with people I love, my son and Christy and my daughters and my friends that are like family. Everybody that works there is obsessed with motorcycles, and a lot of the guys volunteer. They're not even there for the money. They just love it so much. They want to be part of what we're doing. So truly feel blessed to be doing what we're doing. So let's take a walk up and take a look at.
Yeah, and again, the awning was a nice addition. It gives us opportunity to work on some stuff outside when the weather ain't so good. Now, most of the work all happens in back. Now, this is my 41 flathead. I built this out of parts with my dad in 2009.
I love it.
And it was my two-wheel cruiser for the longest time. Me and my wife got thousands and thousands of miles on the bike. And when my little girl was, my first little girl was 1, I ended up buying this sidecar and slapping it on there, and since the three of us have all sorts of miles blasting around the mountains on this thing. It's reliable as it gets, an 80 cubic inch flathead, so this thing will motor down the road really with new traffic or modern traffic. You know, and it's got enough room for the now. I've got a 18-month-old and a 5.5-year-old. They can hang in the sidecar while me and Mom ride on the bike, and we're just starting at that point where we're all getting around as a family again, so it's nice.
That's awesome. I bought a sidecar rig when my third child was on the way, and with the vision of riding all 3 of them on it also. That was a lot of fun. So you have 3 kids?
I have 2 kids.
2 kids? And they're 5 and
18 months.
they spend some time here with you?
Oh, they love it. Yeah, Evie, it's funny because we get, you know, this particular story comes to mind. Evie, we were down at Disney, and we're in one of them aquariums, you know, and I said, hey, sweetie, look at that lady over there. She's called a marine biologist. You know, you could be a marine biologist when you grow up. And she said, nah, Dad, when I grow up, I want to work at the museum.
Fantastic.
So that was just the most heart-filling thing that there ever could be, and you know, all that's subject to change, but it was really cool. She loves spending time here, loves motorcycles, likes hanging with visitors, and likes spending time behind the counter with the girls up front. So yeah, it's a lot.
So the 3rd generation's covered.
Yeah, that's what, yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
So yeah, she's hooked.
Kids at that age, when they say those kind of things, they mean it. That's from the heart. What happens is the world squashes our dreams and has us do more practical things like become an accountant or an attorney or sorry guys, accountants, attorneys, but maybe you love what you're doing. But a lot of kids take a job for the money.
Yeah.
And I don't think any kid should take a job for the money. It should be, what do you love to do? Because you're going to be doing it for your whole life. And if your children love this as much as you do, man, they are going to have a storybook life.
The best advice that my dad ever gave me was find something you're passionate about and chase it. And I'm just really fortunate that I got passionate about what he was passionate about.
Amen. Amen. So, when did you first start riding motorcycles? When did you start working here? And how long have you been totally obsessed with motorcycles?
Sure. You know, well, I started riding like most, riding dirt bikes when I was a little kid. Actually, my first rides were probably on the front of a seat a lot like this on an old bike. I can remember being 1, 2 years old on my dad's 48 Panhead and riding around the yard with him in Mount Vernon. But I've been riding since I was a kid. My first bike was actually, I just found one it's been about a year ago. It was a Yamaha BW80.
Dude, I had a GT80. That was my first one.
All right.
Yeah, and I've had a few of them since then. We always have one in the museum, but yeah, that's what I started. I know it's Japanese, but hey, you know,
same.
You got to have one here.
Yeah, well, I got one at the house now. Being that it's all American in here, it doesn't really fit, so I keep it in the garage.
But it touched you, and it got you obsessed with
motorcycles.
motorcycles.
Yeah, you know, so I was hooked from a really early age, and you know, I've been going to swap meets and auctions and bike shows with my dad since I was knee high. You know, so it was really something that was part of my upbringing and part of my childhood, and I was probably hooked long before I realized it. You know, now all through school, through high school, through college, I played soccer, and that's what got me into school that I went to. So there was a 8-year period there where I was, you know, I was really dedicated to that aspect of my life. And when I graduated school, my dad extended the invitation for me to come down here, and I've been here ever since. So that's been 16, 17 years almost.
Awesome. So you were basically born into it from I mean, your dad being a Harley dealer. You're probably they probably carried you in a basket into the Harley. I'm sure your mom did. Carried you in a basket.
Like that.
You were before you even knew how old you were already admiring motorcycles and smitten with them.
A lot of my very earliest memories are at the dealership.
You know, when you get a little child who just learned to walk and they hear a Harley run, their eyes light up. It's always the coolest thing. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen that meme of the kid watching the road racers go by and his eyes light up and he's he's basically shivering. That's what it is, man. So they plant the seed at an early age. So and it's not just motorcycles. You guys are into American cars, and right behind us in trucks.
Yeah, right. It's a couple hot rods here, not hot rods, I guess the total stockers, but this is a 29 model AA pickup. We use it for all sorts of stuff around the museum.
I love it.
Sometimes it's just to take the trash out, other times to haul parts and bikes from front to back. My little Model A over here is a 1928. Pretty much completely original roadster pickup here. So
wow, that thing's fantastic.
It runs.
Is that original paint on there, man?
Yeah, it's original paint.
So it's 100-year-old original paint.
Yeah, almost 100. Wow. Yeah, 92 years old now.
It'd be a crime to repaint this.
So, I know. I won't even replace the windshield. It's all cracked and
it's got tons of character.
Broken, and I gotta drive it down the road with my head hanging out the side like a dog. But it runs great, totally stock. It came from Lee Hartung in Glenview, Illinois. Was one of my dad's mentors. Lee had an incredible museum up there.
Somebody inspired your pops over.
Yeah, one of the guys that inspired my dad. And this sat at Lee's really as long as my dad could ever remember. And Lee had probably 100 cars. He had about 60 motorcycles. Collected everything Chicago. There was so much more as far as memorabilia, as far as he had license plates, for example. He had every plate from every state from every year.
Oh my God!
So he was a license plate collection.
That took a long time to collect.
Incredible, you know. And they hung from the ceilings in these big, you know, they take wire and hang them out of 2 holes, and then the next one.
Wow.
So there's these, you know, big panels of plates that were every plate, every state, every year.
So it inspired your dad to follow suit what he was doing, right?
So a lot of Lee's rarest stuff ended up here.
Success leaves clues. When you see really cool stuff like that, you're like, I got to do that.
Yeah.
So
wait till you get inside.
What's the scoop with the shovel here? I know we haven't made it inside yet, and we got
a
show here.
You know, a lot of these bikes, the 32 VL here is our beat-around vehicle. This is I actually had just bought out of Florida and passed it along to a friend of mine. So it's
nice shovel. What do you got hidden on the other side here? A couple of late model Sportsters?
Yeah, those are some. Same thing. Just purchased those out of Sportster. As
2 really nice 100th anniversary Sportsters right here.
Now,
100th
we
anniversary.
don't have a 100th bike inside the museum, so one of these will likely.
You do now.
Yeah, well, the one's pretty brand new with 5,500 miles in the other.
They're both beautiful. And to think it's almost 20 years ago.
I know, isn't that outrageous?
I don't know about you, but the older I get, the faster the time seems to be going.
Yeah.
And you see it in your kids too, because my youngest just got her license. She's 16.
Yeah.
And Junior's 21, and he's all grown up. You know, he's like taking the reins on the business now, which is one of the reasons we went on this trip was one, to buy a lot of motorcycles.
Sure.
So, and that's what we're doing. But the second reason...
You got room in that trailer?
No, I have 2 trailers that follow us around, a 44 and a 36 foot. I buy them and they pick them up.
Yeah, good.
So I think I've driven 10,000 miles since I left, and they've probably driven 120. Because they've been coming back and forth, filling up trailer loads. But it's been awesome. It's been really awesome.
Yeah, well, come on inside. Let's get a peek at what's going on. And
let's show us where we are. Are we right here?
Yeah, sure. So no, this is actually a little bit east of us. We're right here, Waynesville, North Carolina, right on I-40. Probably an hour and a half east of Knoxville, 2.5 hours from Charlotte, about 3 hours from Atlanta.
What's the closest big airport? Because you can buy tickets now for like $27.
And there's, Asheville's got a small airport. Knoxville's a little bit bigger. Charlotte's big airport. Atlanta's 3 hours. One of the reasons that my dad moved here, while it's off the beaten path and it's in the mountains here, you still have this accessibility. 90 million people can drive here in one day's time. Yeah. So it's a accessible place by many, but here in the mountains, you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere.
So there's really no excuse not to come here. You can fly here, you can drive here from anywhere in the continental U.S. If you can ride your motorcycle, you got to hit the tail of the Dragon and the Blue Ridge Parkway and all the other spots, or trailer your bike down like we did and ride it. So we bought 2 bikes in case one breaks. So now, even though the Wheel Shoot Time Museum has been closed due to COVID, they are very much open online. They have their own YouTube channel, so to speak. It's called, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a Wheels Through Time YouTube channel, and we've got, we got hundreds of videos online and individual exhibit pieces highlighting individual motorcycles, stories of the who and the what and the where of how this place was built. And once you get inside, you really see how much history is actually in there. The content's absolutely endless. We've been doing recently, over the past maybe year, been doing our Drive for History, where we take an individual bike. You talk history, you talk technical. I always say there's multiple stories to every bike. There's a story of who rode it, raced it, bought it, and sold it. There's a story of how it got here, and it's all really interesting and compelling stuff. My dad is. He's kind of a modern day treasure hunter when it comes to old motorcycles, or was. And that's one of the things that once you get inside, you can see that this is one guy's passion. This is a place that you can tell the guy found what he loved and chased it down to a really an epic scale. So we try and highlight so much of that on our YouTube channel, and new stuff coming out all the time.
Really 2 guys' passion, because you were with him through the whole journey, this whole 20-year thing. You've been by his side, and now it's yours. You are the future of the museum. It's your passion now.
Well, we got a super crew here. There's 10 of us that are all together, and oddly enough, people think museums, they tend to think age, but I think our median age here of our crew at the museum might be like 32 years old. So I'm actually like one of the older guys that are actually here.
You're the mentor now.
So yeah.
So check out their YouTube channel. Please subscribe. They have 52,000 subscribers. They should have 500,000 on there, and hopefully a bunch of our subscribers will jump on, hit that button right now. and comment, like, share the videos. Also, tell us about the private channel you have. You have a private channel, for specialty videos. Also, you have your own sort of YouTube.
Yeah, my dad got onto the video stuff way early on, really when streaming was just starting to become a thing, and has been creating videos and content about the museum, the machines, the stuff we're building since about 2004. So it was initially called the Time Machine. Now it's daleschannel.com, and you can really it's kind of our historical archive here of the things that have happened over the past 20 years at the museum. So it and the YouTube channel are kind of twofold. One has a lot of the earliest stuff that happened here, and then the YouTube channel has really been the past several years and then moving forward.
So guys, they were closed last year due to COVID, but you can very much see what's going on here, and they're opening up in 2 weeks on April 1st. Go online, subscribe. Go on to their store. They have an online store. You can buy swag. You can buy T-shirts and all kinds of stuff. We'll show you that inside. And the Dale's channel is, I think, a subscription basis, right?
Yes, it's a one-time fee, so it's not a monthly subscription. It's a one-time. You buy access to the archive.
How much is that?
$7.95.
$7.95, guys. And you can get 20 years of motorcycle history that can only be seen on that channel. That's the best motorcycle value on the planet. So go online, buy the subscription. Like the Facebook page, stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more. Matt's awesome in front of a camera. I've watched a bunch of his videos, and you're going to enjoy watching him talk about all the bikes that he's building. He's got probably, how many bikes in your shop right now? You got like 50 bikes in there, right?
Yeah, there's probably 15 or 18 mid-progress.
Yep.
We'll take you back.
And I heard you just got a few tractor trailer loads in
There's
recently.
a lot of parts that come in recently. Yeah,
We'll hopefully get a look at that. So go online. Hit the like and subscribe button, and ring the little bell, so when his videos come up, you'll know. So we haven't even gotten inside yet. There's so much.
Yeah, so this is really the first glimpse of what the museum's all about. It's right here inside. This is our entrance foyer and our gift shop area.
You know my best angel voice.
So the chopper trike there is actually my dad's very first motorcycle.
Wow.
He built that bike when he was about 15 years old. It was an old police survey car that was out behind a service station, wrecked into a tree. Finally got the nerve up to talk to the folks that own the property. He ended up buying it for $20, had it delivered for $5. Kind of locked himself in the garage for about a month and rolled out that hot rod. So
that's just fantastic. What a great story.
Took to high school most times, and really neat stuff. This is Wheelie Machine right up until very recently. He'd hop on that thing and put it in first gear and pop the clutch and bring that front wheel 2-3 feet high. It's a regular occurrence. He'd do it inside the building a lot of the time.
I've seen videos on this thing. It's fantastic. So let's show the guys and gals that are watching the raffle bike, because everybody's got an opportunity to get a piece of Primo Americana here right from the museum. And this has been one of your major sources of income since the museum's been closed, right?
That's right. You know, here at the museum, it's our big fundraiser every year. Without the raffle, the museum wouldn't be able to continue to exist. It's one of the things that keeps our doors open. So every year, and it started in '02, we build a bike, or restore a bike, to raffle off in November, which is right near the end of the season. This year we've got a 48 panhead that my dad and I finished up. It's actually one of the very last bikes that my dad worked on.
Wow.
It's a 48, 74 cubic inch job, 4-speed transmission. Thing will honk down the road with modern traffic. The 48 panhead, we always try and one up every year, the previous year. You know, we've done knuckleheads, we've done flatheads, we've done panheads before. This year we really wanted to pick a milestone motorcycle, and the panhead is really kind of, in a way, the first of the really modern motorcycles. You know, they came out with the overhead valve stuff with the knuckleheads. As they move on to the panhead, they kind of simplify things. You get aluminum heads for better cooling, and like I said, a bike like this gets down the road really with modern traffic, no problem. So this bike finished off, of course, in black, plenty of chrome on it also. 48 was one of those years where they really started to offer lots of stuff in chrome. Yeah, so we're excited to give it away. We've raffled to date. This is our 19th raffle. One year we raffled 2 bikes, so this is actually our 20th motorcycle. And again, it is the fundraiser that keeps our doors open. So if you guys are digging what you see, make sure you You log on to the museum site today. You can get tickets online, wheelsthroughtime.com. Tickets are 1 for $10, 1 ticket for $10. We do 3 for $20. 7 ticket for $50 package gets you a free t-shirt and a free DVD about the museum here. And then there's packages above that also.
What are the packages above that?
There's, I think it's 16 tickets for $100. There's 48 for $250, and then there's a $200 package also that's breakdown, but it's not on our poster right now. So
guys, I'm a little bit jaded, as you know. I go to a lot of AMCA shows. I'm an AMCA judge and also the Eastern Connecticut ambassador, and I'm completely obsessed with motorcycles. I go to Daytona every year, drool on every bike there, literally. Look at every bike. This is one of the finest panheads I've ever seen. So if you want, there's something in this for you guys, and that is not just the bike, but the history of the bike, the fact that it came through Wheels Through Time, and the fact that a genuine legacy, hero, and legend in this sport of motorcycling, Dale Walksler. This was the last bike he restored. This bike is going to be worth more than any other Panda from the era just because of the provenance of it coming from here. I can tell you straight up. So buy a bunch and buy them off it. I'm going to walk out of here with a bag full of tickets. So I'm going to pony up, put my money where my mouth was, and I hope I win it.
Rockin', man. Well, it's got right at 500 miles on it, so it's just broken in. One of the things about passing off a new rebuild to an owner, you finish the motorcycle and start it up for the first time. That's just a part of the work being finished. There's still another 20% or thereabouts, dialing the bike in, shaking it down, the stuff that, the nuts and bolts that are going to loosen up from the vibration, those initial times that you run it and ride it, all of that stuff's been retorquing head bolts, base bolts, cam cover screws, adjusting primary chains and secondary chains, brake and clutch adjustments, all that fine tuning that happens immediately after, and maybe the 500 or 800 miles after a motorcycle is built. We've just kind of gotten through that hurdle, so this thing really is ready to go.
That's so awesome, and guys, you guys that are listening, even on a new bike, brand new motorcycles have issues, but a restoration where everything is been touched and handcrafted and restored, it's really important that break-in period and any issues have been worked out. So this is, in my opinion, there's a tremendous amount of value in that based on the history. We restore and I ride, well, not full restorations, but sometimes preservation services. Might just be cleaning a carbon and putting batteries and leaving it original. But between on the low end 50 and on a big month like last month 175 motorcycles with 20 guys working on them. Yeah. So almost every one goes back in the shop like 3 times. Yeah. So you don't want to buy a bike that has been restored unless it's been worked in and tuned like this one has been. So right. And you guys knew that. So guys, I'm going to pony up and buy the biggest package, which is 248 tickets for $250. I'm committing to that. I hope a bunch of you guys watching jump online, buy some tickets, and may the best man win. Hopefully me. I'm a little selfish about that, but I hope I win. So I'm going to pony up, buy the tickets. Now, there's another way we can support the museum, too. There's a lifetime membership. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, when we started the lifetime membership program probably about 6 years ago, it's capped at 1,000 lifetime. We call it a donorship program. That's $1,000 to support the museum. You get free unlimited admission for life for you and 3 of your buddies. So every time you come, you and your buddies get free admission. You get percentage off of all of our merch in the gift shop. That's 10% off. You get this really rad print. I'm not sure if you heard of David Ewell or not. David Ewell, he is one of, he's the premier Harley Davidson artist. Several years ago, he did a painting of my dad digging out the number 8 serial number 8 Crocker motorcycle. Crockers today are really kind of they're like the Shelby Cobras of American motorcycling. Absolutely. It's incredibly low production, rare as rare comes. So Dave did the painting of my dad. It actually comes in print form right here, numbered and signed by David. And then on top of that, we also offer the framed piece there. Is that the print is. It comes in a really nice presentation and envelope, tells you all about the museum, how it was started, what our mission's all about.
But it's not framed like this one?
That's extra, so it's a little bit extra. This one is about $130, and this one I think is $230.
Okay, so for
This one is
that one is a 130 extra.
130.
What's that? No, I'm sorry.
So was there? I didn't mean to cut you off.
And then then there's there's donorship patch, lapel pin. You get the Crocker T-shirt and the tin signs. So you get a bunch of swag, the admission, some extra raffle tickets. It's really a neat setup. And again, one of those things that without our donorship program and our donors, the museum would have a much more difficult time continuing to fulfill its mission and preserve for the future generations. So, and when our donor program, our donors they're like family. You know, it's the type of thing where they come across the bridge. You know, we have such a huge visitor base. When a donor comes across the bridge, we recognize them immediately. They come in, they get the special treatment, they get to hang out with the museum as much as they want, spend a ton of time here, show their friends, share the place, and really become part of the museum family. So.
Well, consider me a member of the family, because I'm signing up.
All right, man. Thank you.
In honor of you and your pops, and on behalf of the Kaplan Cycles family, New England Motorcycle Museum, it's the least I could do. So we're going to do the lifetime membership. And I also want to buy that print. I want to hang that right on the entry.
Yeah, that's
of the New
beautiful.
England Motorcycle Museum, right in the front foyer.
Well, we'll see if we got one in stock, and we'll send you home with it.
Awesome. If not, you can mail it to me. But I want to frame one of those too. I'd like to display. I'm going to go through the gift shop and I hope I can get some more Wheels Through Time swag to hang up in our museum, which would be awesome because you guys have been a big inspiration to me. You know, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to take a tour?
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the swag that you have over here too. Now,
sure.
How do they buy the swag if they want to get some of the?
No, we got wheelsthroughtime.com is our website, and almost all of our merch is available right on our online gift shop. And then here at the store, we go to a few events a year and try and bring a small kind of abbreviated stock apart of merchandise. But you know, here at the museum, there's all sorts of men's stuff, women's stuff. We got some really rad jerseys, some throwback stuff from my dad's early Harley days, and it's changing all the time. We got a bunch of new good stuff coming out for 2021 too.
They got coffee mugs too. I got to get a couple of those.
Yes, you do.
The black and gold ones are black and yellow. Very nice. So all this merch is available on your website.
Yes.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And do you have any like tin signs and stuff?
Yeah, we do. The tin signs are all over that way, and we actually have a new tin sign coming out of our raffle bike. So,
wow.
Yeah, and that ought to be here maybe in a week. Probably by the time we open, we'll have full stock of that sort of stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah, one of the new ones is that we call it the Vision sign, and it's a picture of my dad on his first knucklehead.
That one right there?
Yeah, kind of staring over the Blue Ridge.
Let's put one of those on my pile if you have them in stock.
Yeah, absolutely, we do.
What are they? And you have this one too?
Yeah.
I'll take one of every one you have, okay? Yeah. So we'll take one of each of those for sure, and we'll grab a couple T-shirts too. What do you got for bumper stickers and stuff?
You know what do we got for bumper stickers? I don't know if we do have any bumper
Toolbox stickers,
but we got plenty of toolbox stickers, a bunch of patches, magnets, poker chips, and the like.
Awesome. This Dale's Harley shirt, was that the name of?
That was my dad's very first shop. He opened that when he was 18 in Glen Ellen, Illinois.
Wow.
And
so he had a shop when he was 18?
Yeah, had a shop.
And then franchised it at 22?
Yeah, so
awesome.
And it was actually a really kind of neat story. A friend of his from high school came down about 4 years ago with an original shirt from '72. Had it in a frame and everything. And it was right at that point we thought, you know what, man, we got to do a throwback of my dad's first shirt, so it fits real well.
See that Angels Gather Here sign? That's really cool. I like that.
For sure.
Does that stand for the club, 81, or is that?
No, that's just
real Angels. No, I think that's very appropriate because I often feel most of the motorcycles I buy, the guys that had them are passed on. You know, so I feel like the spirit of them lives on in the motorcycle, the vibrations and the good times they had.
No doubt.
That's part of the magic.
Yeah,
awesome.
You'll see a lot of that in here. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you for showing us the showroom.
My pleasure. Of course. Well, we're just getting started.
So, guys, I'm practically shivering. I'm so excited. We're going to show you where the real magic happens, and that's in the museum. There's so much to see. So thank you for watching. You've seen the showroom here and all the swag they have for sale, and you know how to get involved. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. The next video is going to be off the hook. And God bless the United States of America.